What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Latin Explaining. My name is Denise Gonzalez. For those who do not know me, for those who do, welcome back, guys. It's nice to be here on another day sharing with all of you guys. I see that MK, Jose, and Rizoram already started the chat. Now, if you're catching this on the replay, make sure that before you do anything else, you like and subscribe if you have not done so, and also hit the bell for notifications so that every time I go live, you don't miss a single moment of Latin explaining with Denise. Now, one thing that I want to encourage people starting today, we're already on the road to the 300 subscribers mark. So I want to thank everybody that has supported the platform one way or the other. But I want you guys to also, if you enjoy the content, if you enjoy my perspective, to also bring people back with you. Okay, so if you enjoy this content, make sure you encourage your neighbor, your papas, your mamas, your abuelas, your tios, your vecinos, your neighbors, your friends, everybody that you know. Encourage them to come to Latin explaining and enjoy with the rest of us. Don't be selfish. Share the joy of being a Latin explainer with the people that you know. Okay. Now, guys, today we have a lot of things to discuss, and you know that the main topic is going to be Canada because why not? But before we get to Canada, oh my God. Today's WTF news comes directly from the Golden State, California. And as you guys might not know, beehives that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars reported stolen across California. Yes, you heard me right. I know it sounds really funny, and it freaking is. A lot of people have been speculating about what's going on, but I will inform you guys what's going on. And basically, for a few frenzied weeks, beekeepers from around the United States truck billions of honeybees to California to rent them to almond growers who need the insects to pollinate the state's most valuable crop. But as almond trees start to bloom, blanketing entire valleys in white and pink flowers, so begin beehive thefts that have become so prevalent that beekeepers are now turning to, listen well, GPS tracking devices, surveillance cameras, and other anti theft technology to protect their precious colonies. Hive thefts have been reported elsewhere in the country, most recently, three hives containing about 60,000 bees taken from a grocery chain's garden in central Pennsylvania. They happen at a larger scale and uniquely in California this time of the year because bees are most in demand during the largest pollination event in the world. Now, you guys heard me right. When poverty, inflation, among other things, are affecting the United States of America, people are finding very creative ways to steal valuable assets. And one of those valuable assets right now, because we're in the middle of spring, is stealing beehives that are crucial to actually, pollinize different crops. Now, it's used mainly for almonds out here, but it's also used for other different crops in order to accelerate the blooming process when we're having this amazing spring weather. But I mean, if I have to take a guess, who do you guys will think? Like, if this is used for rapid pollinizing of crops, who most likely be stealing bees? Come on, this cannot be just a simple common thief. This has to be someone that also grows other crops. Don't you guys think? I see that Jose says, unbelievable. Absolutely. That's why, oh my God, when I saw this today, I could not believe it. It was hilarious. But aside from being hilarious, it's also showing that every sector in the country right now is under stress, mostly financial, because not only inflation, but what's growing between the United States, Ukraine, and Russia. And I will talk about that tomorrow. So if you're interested into knowing, because a lot of people don't understand what's going on, mainly a lot of people think that we're all worried about the war. I get that. However, how does that affect you and me on a daily basis? Tune in tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, and 7 p.m. Central so that you can find out why everything that's happening in Russia, Ukraine, and with the United States involved in it is affecting your day to day life. Now, moving from that, I want to share amazing news with you guys. This Thursday, as I announced before, we're going to have our first episode of Conspiracy Thursdays. In a world that's always changing, things are always happening and now moves in a faster pace. Media keeps discarding people's hypothetical conclusions for events we don't fully understand. No one wants to talk about it. Our politicians keep pouring their lies and some people believe them. Where do we go for answers? Are these just mere conspiracies? And if so, are they true? Let's find out together. Join me every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific Time to find the truth on Conspiracy Thursdays here on Latin Explaining with Denise. See you there. Heard it, and it's going to be premiering this Thursday. So make sure, if you are like me and you question everything in your life, everything that you hear, you always want to get to the bottom of things. Make sure that you come join me on Conspiracy Thursdays, where we will find out how truthful or non-truthful these conspiracies actually are, and if so, why do we have those conspiracies? I see that Rizaram says YouTube might demonetize this series. We'll see. We will find things that We'll try to keep it on the PG side, or the liberal liberal approved stamp. We'll see what's going on, but trust me, if it comes to that, I'll just move it to my Patreon. I will be launching my Patreon this summer, where I will have more unscripted, unfiltered content over there, only for intellectuals. And I'm gonna say something before we get to the nitty gritty here, because like I always say, and I think I'm gonna come up with a T-shirt. Okay, the Decepticons, and I'm gonna just coin this right now. We have people in this YouTube little corner that we have formed. We have people that are have been mad at us here, Latin splainers, for a long time for different reasons. And now, because I remember when I started, at first they were like, "Oh, Rizal Rem is like, so it's gonna be woke." Hell no. I mean, it's gonna be the actual woke, because I don't know if you guys have noticed that the reason why woke mentality right now is being criticized is because the initial woke mentality was to not get fooled by media and stay true and stay in code. That's something that African Americans coined initially, for people to not believe the bull crap. However, after the LGBT and the alphabet community and a lot of people that live outside of reality, body positivity, and all this single mama BS start getting into this whole woke mentality, it corrupted the whole woke mindset that was initially put in. So it's going to be the initial woke mentality type of stuff, okay, where we're going to disconnect completely from the stupidity that we're seeing nowadays. You guys know I am not with the bullshit in this channel. I'm more based on facts, data, and numbers. So one thing I would say is that today we're going to have a new brand. Yesterday we created the idioteps. That's where we're going to encapsulate everybody that disregards data, and actual content and actual facts, in order to just promote whatever the hell they feel like to, because their feelings are more important. So those are idioteps. And today we have the Decepticons. Decepticons have been mad at Latin explainers and the Latin explaining community for a very long time, simply because we don't abide by left or right mentality. We are more of a centric or moderate mentality, and we see through the BS, and we like to read, and we like to see things of interest. And we actually do our research, because over here in Latin explaining, we don't just do the dishes, we also scrub the sink. So Decepticons right now, were saying about us. Oh, look, Risa Realm says awake is the original genuine woke. Yeah, let's just call it awake. Let's just call it awake. Decepticons were trying to say that this channel and our community that we love so much out here was everything under the sun, everything but a child of God, that we were trying to do this like them and that like them and blah, 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 blah. Now the Decepticons are changing the narrative and basically are trying to do what we do out here, because they realize that after the long break that Latin explainers took to stay productive and on code, they have no content. And now the Decepticons are trying to do the same thing we're doing out here on Latin explaining, but guess what? They can steal the recipe, but the sauce won't come out the same. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. So watch out for the Decepticons. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. I'm not going to mention no names, but if you have been sticking to this community, you know the sector that I'm talking about. They're not all of a sudden talking about the same stuff that we've been saying here for almost a whole year. And trust me, we're going to celebrate this year with the funniest moments on Latin explaining. So the fact that they're doing this without giving us any credit for the stuff that we have discussed here should tell you, and also their crowd, who to listen to. And also it tells us that regardless of their hate and their deceptive moves, they still listen to what we're saying. Because if not, how would they know? How would they know? They hate us because they can't beat us. What's up, Rakim? It's nice to have you out here. Now, guys, let's keep it moving because, like I said, today we have a few different things to touch on, and I want to go into the authoritarian and hypocrite that Justin Trudeau really is. But before we get there, let's go to discuss some interesting topics on Latin explaining sports. Now, guys, you know as well as I do that no matter what, we enjoy a good baseball team. And one of the things that I want to bring up is that I am so excited that officially today it was announced that the Cangrejeros of Santurce, that's in Puerto Rico, are going to be under new management. So now they're going to have the guy on the left is named Alex Intron. He's going to be the new official manager of the Cangrejeros de Santurce. And Nick Ortiz, the guy on the right, is going to be the bench coach of the team. I don't know if you guys follow a lot of baseball in Puerto Rico. I do. But this actually might represent like a great thing for the team simply because, come on, these are two of the best ever players that we have seen from Houston. Alex Intron was on the Houston Astros for a very long time, and he also achieved many great things. So I think that having him and Nick Ortiz into the Cangrejeros of Santurce will be an amazing addition that will jumpstart the whole franchise. And speaking of franchise, jumpstart, and all that, I know that this weekend was the All Star game. Unfortunately, I did not watch it because I was having my weekend of love with MK. So, of course, I missed it, but I did not miss what happened. And it was, come on, what a freaking game. Team LeBron emerged victorious in the 71st All-Star game, defeating Team Durant to 163 points to 160, courtesy of a game-winning jumper from who else but the King James, who finished with 24 points on the night. I don't know if you guys had the opportunity to watch it. Like I said, I missed it, unfortunately. But I mean, come on, with LeBron James, people can say whatever they want. I love the sport of basketball a lot. And I know he's not Kobe Bryant, he's not Michael Jordan, he's not Magic Johnson, he's not Charles Barkley, he's not Shaquille O'Neal. I get that. But today, and he's not even Steph Curry. Let's just give, let's give Steph Curry his credit. But to be honest, in my opinion, LeBron James has been consistently in modern NBA one of the most overall complete players in the league for quite some time. So he deserves all the credit that he got. We saw a lot of emotive exchange between Michael Jordan and LeBron himself during this ending of his victory over Team Durant. Now, I don't know how to feel about Durant. I mean, I like Kevin Durant, but eh, I am sorry. I'm not a big Durant fan, but I mean, it is what it is. If you love Durant, then good for you. But to be honest, I think, of course, the West is always like Kobe used to say, the West is stronger. Here we go, guys. So that has been all for sports for today. Let's move to now, Justin Trudeau, the man of the hour. Well, if you can call him an hour, but I mean, Justin Trudeau has been under fire for quite some time. You guys know that towards the end of January 2022, there was a lot of upset among truckers and other workers that were demanded, even US truckers were demanded to have what is known today a vaccine passport. Now, For people that don't know, truckers were required to be vaccinated to enter the Canadian nation. And basically, it was a passport that was linked to their license plate. It was linked to their insurance. It was linked to their driver's license. It was linked to their bank account. And when they used to go to the border to deliver goods, uh when they needed to deliver goods to Canada, they just needed to scan the truck and they had all the truckers' information, including their vaccination status. Now, that sparked a lot of distrust in the quote unquote liberal government of Justin Trudeau up in Canada. And a lot of truckers felt disrespected and they felt that that was extremely an extreme invasion of privacy, and they started getting upset. Now, Justin Trudeau started sending, as usual, I'm not surprised, like any other politician, started sending a lot of cops to this freedom convoy that they started. And he escalated the situation to a point where now Canada is out of control. I think he's losing his grip. But we're going to dissect here what has been happening in the past few days with Justin Trudeau. Now, Justin Trudeau in this past 3 days had a meeting with his parliament and members of the parliament of Canada, confronted Justin Trudeau on his authoritarian measures. And I want to share with you guys, before we see the video, I want to show you guys that we can see it after, but I want to discuss something with you guys. There was a point when Justin Trudeau used to be a guy that was pro the people, that was pro actual Canadians. It was pro workers. He was pro everything that, and that's basically why he overwhelmingly was acclimated by a lot of Canadians in the past. And he used to make a lot of, how can I say it, a lot of headlines based on his beliefs. He used to believe in many things that associated with the people. A lot of people used to say that he was a socialist and what have you. But there was one specific instance in 2005 that I want to bring you guys into it, but give me 1 second. But that's precisely what people in Canada are trying to cite now, saying Justin Trudeau has lost its way. He's going into this demented type of dictatorship and whatnot. And a lot of Canadians are losing hope in their leader because he sold them one thing. He's doing a farruko on them. He sold them one thing and then decided to flip the switch and become another. Sound very familiar. I think he might have a spot with the Decepticons. Don't you guys think? They say they one thing today and then another. But one of the most notorious things that Justin Trudeau has been called out for, aside from other scandals, is this tweet that he did on 2012 that says, when a government starts trying to cancel dissent or avoid dissent is when it's rapidly losing his moral authority to govern. That was Harper in 2005. So a lot of people, you might understand why a lot of people feel the way they feel with Justin Trudeau right now, trying to be this authoritarian, strong dude that's telling people to do whatever the heck he wants them to do, and so on and so on. And the parliament members call him out on it. And I want you guys to pay close attention to Justin Trudeau's response to this. It's going to be a 9-minute video, so stick with me. And trust me, like I said, pay close attention, because this exchange, oh my God, gets really, really juicy, really, really, really good. So I'm going to leave you guys to it. Watch it with me.
Optimistic, hopeful vision for public life isn't a naive dream. It could be a powerful force for change. If Canadians are to trust their government needs to trust Canadians. Those are the words of the Prime Minister in 2015. These people, very often misogynistic, racist, women haters, science deniers, the fringe. Same Prime Minister 6 years later as he fans the flames of an unjustified national emergency. So, Mr. Speaker, when did the Prime Minister lose his way? When did it happen?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Conservative Party members can stand with people who wave swastikas. They can stand with people who wave the Confederate flag. We will choose to stand with Canadians who...
By the way, the woman that he's talking to is a Jewish woman. Mind you, that she's a Jewish woman. But let's continue.
Deserve to be able to get to their jobs, to be able to get their lives back. These illegal protests need to stop, and they will, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Thornhill.
Unbecoming as a Prime Minister. It's been 48 hours that the government went from doing nothing to a national emergency. 48 hours into using the measures. 48 hours without providing Parliament with a justification. So my question is simple. When will the Prime Minister admit that he's lost control of the situation, that he's lost control of his country, that he's lost control of his caucus, and that he's lost control of his leadership?
Mr. Speaker, I've never seen such shameful and dishonorable remarks coming from this Prime Minister. My great-grandfather flew over 30 missions over Nazi Germany. My great-great-uncle's body lies at the bottom of the English Channel. There are members of this Conservative caucus who are the descendants of victims of the Holocaust. For the Prime Minister to accuse any colleague in this House of standing with the swastika is shameful. I'm giving the Prime Minister an opportunity. I'm calling on him to unreservedly apologize for this shameful remark.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians deserve their freedoms back. Mr. Speaker, these illegal blockades that have continued to interfere with people's livelihoods, to interfere with people's daily lives,
have to interrupt the Honourable Prime Minister, so ask everyone to calm down so we can hear the answer. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the measures put forward in this Emergencies Act are proportional, are responsible, and quite frankly, are completely folded within the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. The steps that we are taking are important and measured to restore order and freedoms to Canadians in this country. That is exactly what we are doing.
Well, member for Sturgeon River Parkland.
Mr. Speaker, the lack of an apology from that Prime Minister speaks volumes. I have given this Prime Minister an opportunity to retract a shameful remark where he would accuse any honorable member of this House to stand with a swastika. As I said before, we have colleagues who are the descendants of victims of the Holocaust. I'm giving the Prime Minister one more chance. Will he apologize to all members of this House?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, even as the members of the Conservative Party are calling to us to take more action over the past 2 weeks on this, they continued to stand with and encourage these illegal blockades. Mr. Speaker, Canadians are watching carefully and see exactly where the Conservative politicians who've stood with those blockades are standing. We will stand on the side of Canadians who deserve their lives back, who deserve their livelihoods back.
Member for Sturgeon River Parkland.
My apologies, Mr. Speaker. I didn't write these out. But the fact is, I don't know how any member of the government caucus can stand by this Prime Minister when he accuses honorable members of this House of standing with a swastika. I'm calling on all members of the Liberal caucus to denounce the Prime Minister. I have given him 2 chances to apologize. He has refused to apologize. Mr. Prime Minister, apologize.
Now, you guys can bet that Justin Trudeau did not apologize. And to be honest with you, oh my God, this is literally the prime minister members going at Justin Trudeau because he called them basically associate. He said basically that they are associating with Nazis. But let's break it down a little bit because I find this like one of the most hypocritical things to say from Justin Trudeau. I don't know if you guys, because to be honest with you, I don't think he is in any position to call anybody or tell anybody that they are associating with Nazis. And one of the scandals, we're going to go from mild to severe. The first scandal is that we have the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, in blackface. Not once, not twice, three times this man has been found in blackface in the past. And when people started popping up this picture, he had a very lame excuse for an apology. And I'm going to read it out exactly how he said it. I'm going to cite him verbatim. He said, darkening your face, regardless of the context or the circumstances, is always unacceptable because of the racist history of blackface. And he said, I also should have understood that then, and I never should have done it. Now, you might think that this is something that a young, ignorant person will do. Well, let me tell you something. Justin Trudeau, here on this picture, was in high school. But later on, he was found to be a high school teacher doing blackface again. And if that is not enough, Justin Trudeau continues his hypocrisy. And it's not only the blackface situation that at first he did not literally said when he was asked, because he was asked, are there any more pictures or videos about you utilizing blackface? He decided to not say anything. What he basically responded was, I'm sorry, I didn't understand how hurtful this is to people who live with discrimination every single day. That's basically what he said, literally what he said, because he was dressed in this throughout the majority of his youth. Now, basically, and he was 29 years old when the second video popped out of him in blackface raising his hands. He even darkened his arms and everything. And when he was asked one more time to say there were more instances where he was doing the blackface thing, he said, obviously, this is deeply regrettable. I'm wary of being definitive about this because the recent pictures that came out, I had not remembered. And I think the question is, how could you not remember that? How can he not remember if he has had literally different counts of times when he deliberately dressed in black face? We're not talking about something Justin Trudeau is ignorant to. We have known this for over 100 years and how freaking insensitive, disrespectful, and blatantly racist blackface is. But he proceeded to do it because in his mind, this is fun. But hey, the members of his uh, parliament are the racist one that stands with swastikas. Now, that's not the only thing. Uh, Justin Trudeau he's linking all of these people that are literally descendants of victims of the Holocaust that want nothing to do with Nazis. He's saying that they are siding with Nazis because one individual was waving that flag. And if you want to bet, in my opinion, I would not put past a single politician that was a planted situation just to declare that unlawfully or neo-Nazi. But let's just keep going down this thread. Here is Justin Trudeau with Adri Parubij or whatever his name is. But if you want to know who this guy is, you guys can see clearly that that's Justin Trudeau, right? Let's see who this guy is that he's siding with, right? That's him. That's him in full Nazi uniform. Andriy Parubij speaking at a rally in his Nazi style uniform. So, but then again, He wants to go at members of the parliament and tell them that they are the ones that are associated with neo Nazis. Now, as if that wasn't enough, it gets darker, guys. Okay. Now, this was something that happened in November. Canadian officials under fire after meeting with Ukrainian battalion unit linked to neo-Nazis. That was November 19, 2021. But then he has the audacity to come members of the parliament that had nothing to do with this and call them and accuse them of the things that he is doing. This was November 2021. And if you want to know what we're talking about, I'll read it to you. Basically, in here, it says Canadian equipment has already been found with the volunteer battalions whose integration into the National Guard makes it all the more difficult to track weapon use. According to Ivan Kachanovsky, Azov, and Azov is how neo-Nazis call themselves today, got several Spartan armored personnel carriers which were produced in Ukraine under a Canadian license. Ukrainian officials have also recently discovered a weapons cache at what was alleged to be a volunteer battalion base. That is who Justin Trudeau is. But he loves to blame all the parliament members that there's no evidence, no proof whatsoever that they're associated with nothing like this. All of a sudden, he wants to blame them for doing the things, the disgusting things that he has been doing. I don't know if you guys can smell the bullshit, but I can. All the way here in America, we can smell it. And let me tell you something, this is just the beginning. A lot of people don't understand what's coming our way. There's a lot of things coming our way. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Why? Because this is a workers' protest. This has nothing to do with your ideologies. This is something that Canada wants to do. They want to declare he declared a state of emergency or the emergency use of violence against these workers, not because they were doing nothing illegal, not because they were doing something aggressive, simply because of their ideologies, the ones that he formulated in his mind, just like he did to that lady in Parliament. How can we trust a leader of establishing proper judgment towards people when we saw him blatantly lie and accuse people of what he is? Because that's what he's doing to the workers as well. Everyone is associated with Nazis, but then all of a sudden he's the one that overwhelmingly has been proved to be linked to them. And now you might ask yourself, why are we talking about Canada today? Why are we talking about Justin Trudeau? Why are we talking about the measures that are happening? Well, let me tell you something. This Freedom Convoy that's protesting all these mandates, it's coming to a city near you. Here in the United States, the Freedom Convoy is going to start March 4th at Coachella. And as if that wasn't enough, I posted on my Instagram that Facebook took down a Freedom Convoy page with over 100,000 members organizing in the US to do a Freedom Convoy that it's against the mandates. It will start in Coachella and it will go all the way to Washington, D.C. You don't want to mess with truckers. You honestly do not want to mess with truckers. Why? Because they bring everything into the country. They bring everything to us. Everything that you can possibly imagine, from medicine to furniture to food, everything. They transport all of that. So this is not only in Canada. This is coming to a city near you. And as if that wasn't enough, India, Australia, New Zealand are doing the same freaking thing. Why? Because we are tired. If a vaccine works for you, then you should have the power to decide. It doesn't work for others. That has been proven many times. If I get it, it's not going to save you. It's only for me. That's bullshit. People should be entitled to do whatever the heck they want. That's basically what's going on. And it's so crazy because a lot of people don't shed a lot of light on this, but we're about to see one of the craziest things after the COVID-19 crisis in this country, because Justin Trudeau just is just proving to you the lengths he's willing to go just to enforce his power on the people. We're talking about this man freeze the bank accounts of these truckers. They suspended their truck insurances. They have taken some of their assets. That's what's happening in real time in Canada as we speak. That's why these people are taking to the streets to protest this hypocrite authoritarian dude. And that is what's coming to a city near you. So wake up. I posted also on my Instagram. Jeffrey Epstein was able to traffic people all around the world. Nobody froze his bank accounts. Did you guys ever heard that? Ghislaine Maxwell has done the same. Nobody froze her bank accounts. Prince Andrew did the same thing. Nobody has froze his bank accounts. Oh, but don't protest for workers' rights. Because we're going to take your money. We're going to freeze your accounts. We're going to take everything you have so that you can comply and do whatever the heck we want. Because that's the way we do things here in the West. So, guys, I don't know if you can see the writing in the wall. I definitely can. And it's disgusting. If you're part of the group of people that think that this is just something funny, that this is something that should happen, if you keep cheering on this stupidity, that people should be forced to do things that they don't really want to do in a free country, you're part of the problem and you're blind. All the people that have failed to see what's happening today and how people are being censored and how people are being shunned from reality in order to facilitate big pharma to wreak havoc through people, you have chose to do so. This is no longer that you were deceived. You chose to close your eyes and stay blind to the situation. So this is just my perspective, guys, on the situation happening in Canada and coming near you and me soon enough. I'll try to keep you guys posted when they land here in Coachella and throughout their journey to Washington, D.C. I hope that you guys open your eyes and stop cheering this stupidity on. And something crazy that I want to add before I go. Your favorite people that you love to vote for in the Democratic Party are cheering on this bullshit too. So what's going to happen here in American soil? I don't freaking know. But I hope that everybody that was yelling at us, telling us all kinds of things when we were calling this in 2020 and when we were calling this in 2021, try to hold themselves by their own nuts now that this is coming. Because if they can do this just with a medicine, just think about what they can do to us with other things. I hope this has brought a lot of perspective to you guys and a little bit more of understanding of what's going on in Canada, what's about to happen in this country, what we're seeing around the world. Like I said, tomorrow we're going to discuss Russia, Ukraine, and how does that affect the US and affects you and me in real time as we speak today. So if you're curious about how does this affect you, and trust me, it does in every freaking aspect, you want to tune in tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Central, here on Latin Explaining with Denise. Don't let the Decepticons trick you with one of their lies. See you guys tomorrow with another episode. I am out. And remember, out here in Latin Explaining, we not only do the dishes, we also scrub the sink. Bye, guys.